this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Alright, well, it's another night session, so let's get to practicing, shall we? Alright, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm really stupid, and I forgot to turn my phantom power on, so I already recorded a whole chair section, and it's just gone, it's lost. I'm gonna answer the same question again, because, it's a good one to answer. It's actually okay, because I didn't even do that good of a job answering it. I know, shocker, right? So I think a second pass will be good for me. But it sucks because we're starting late, but it's fine. Alright, what do we have to do today? Morel, third movement, I know. Wait, third movement? Second movement? Third movement's in the bag. Yeah, and then the Latin pieces were, those are a thing, and I'm gonna work on those a little bit, but it's mainly gonna be second movement, Morel Sonatina. That's what we're doing. That's the money. Alright, well, I want to get into this question because it's kind of interesting. And I'll go ahead and say this is one that we are going to talk about multiple times, I'm sure, because it's kind of a thing to talk about amongst classical musicians. But the topic today is about improv and composition, and if classical musicians do it. So this one is left by DK7472. Hey, friend of the channel, how's it going? Alright, you said here, representing self-taught gang, but I'll get private lessons eventually. Well, that is good. Also, here's a question for next time. Do classical guitarists practice writing their own music or doing improvisation? So I'll actually change your question a little bit. Do classical musicians care about improv and composition? At least in my experience, not really. But a classical guitarist is actually really different from all other classical musicians. And the main difference is, I think, the background. And I feel like it's pretty rare to find somebody who actually started with just classical guitar and never veered away into any other genres other than classical. Even from the great performers that we watch, like Julian Bream and John Williams, they played jazz. And John Williams was a rock star. He was like freaking Zakk Wylde. So my point with making that distinction is classical is a genre where, at least in the modern age, there isn't a lot of improv. Now, back in the day, that wasn't true. Classical had tons of improv back when the stuff was being written, and in fact, it was actually written in the music to improvise. That's what all the ornaments and stuff are. We've all heard the quips of Mozart improvising for 10 hours for the poor souls that had to listen. And Bach improvised a lot of stuff. That's how a lot of his music came to be. And even guitar composers like Barrios, he improvised a lot of stuff. And I'm sure that most guitar composers that we play, they didn't just write out their music with staff paper and pencil. They probably improvised it in some way. They were comfortable enough with the theory. That's how a lot of that music came to be. I kind of go through phases myself because I am not strictly a classical guitarist. I started as a rock guitarist for the first 8 years of my playing, and I also was a jazz guitarist for a little less than that. And those genres, there's a lot of improvisation. Before I got into classical, most of the playing I did was improv. And so my reason for learning music back then was mainly to bring to my own playing and improvisation. If you talked to me a year ago, I was doing a lot more writing for guitar than actually learning other people's music. I wrote quite a bit. I wrote 7 or 8 minutes of guitar music, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was dense. I called them sketches, and I wrote 3 main ones, then really 5 in total, incomplete or whatever sketches. So I wrote a really solid 8 minutes, the best that I could, and I kind of figured that that was what I could do. Now I'm in sort of a learning phase where I'm learning a whole bunch of music for multiple reasons. One, I need audition pieces, so I need to learn all this music so I can audition. And 2, it's going to make me better in general to know this, and the music I'm learning, I'm hoping that it'll influence me one day in the compositions that I make in the future. Composing is a part of my guitar journey. Is it a part of everyone's guitar journey? No, and it really doesn't need to be. Your guitar journey can be whatever you want, and composing or not composing doesn't make you any more or less legitimate as a guitarist, obviously. It's really all about what you want to do. And there was one comment attached to this one from Ridicules, friend of the channel. How's it going? And you said Roland Diens. Used to open his concerts with 15 minutes or so of improvisation. Pretty unusual, if not unique, for a classical guitarist, though. And that's the kind of stuff that I'd want to do, too. I have one idea for the Villa-Lobos Etude 1. If I ever did play that in a setting that's my concert, I would probably open with some sort of improv thing. Go into it that way or something. I would do it longer though. But in short, improv is cool and I like it. You don't have to do it, but it is certainly fun, and it's kind of how I started on guitar, so it's natural for me to do that. And that's like one of the bonuses of learning music theory, is that you can really easily apply it to improv to make stuff that sounds composed. So instead of sounding like foolish, just playing random notes in a scale, like even when I play random notes in a scale, I can't help but make harmony out of it. When you know theory, it's almost hard to play randomly, because it's hard to play without using harmony. Sounds like harmony still. And that all comes from just thinking about chords and arpeggios and stuff, and using scales to connect them all. Alright, well, that pretty much covers that. And this is one that we're gonna have to, like, reopen several times, I'm sure, because I really just rambled, so, you know, whatever. It's time for me to practice some real music now. Alright, let's go ahead and get to the piano bench, shall we? And you know what? I'm gonna keep it brief. I will see you on the other side. Okay, I think I'm about ready. I'm ready to meet my fate. Let me bring you closer. This ain't an extravaganza, but I'm putting you in performance mode, because I'm gonna play the first movement of the Morel Sonatina for you. I've been working on it. I think it's better now. I wouldn't play it for you if I didn't think it was improved. That's not true. You know that's not true. But I'm gonna try to have fun with it. In sore hands fashion, I'm gonna try to have fun. was the Morel Sonatina. First movement, what'd you think of that? Was that improved? I don't know, maybe. Yeah, that felt pretty good, actually. I felt really comfortable through that. And I think in the second half, I felt really, really good with it. So, that's okay. I mean, the name of the game with that is just keep slow practicing it. Now just try to work on my interpretation. Alright, well, we're done with the playing now. So, let's go ahead and make our way to the computer. We'll find a video to look at or something, and then we'll call it a day. So, I'll see you there. Guess what? We're watching a mother flippin' John Williams documentary. Oh, John Williams back in the house. That's right. Please enjoy John Williams, a documentary. And we're gonna switch between Manuel Barrueco, John Williams for a while. That's how this is gonna go down. You know the drill. Dude, Alhambro. What's up? Tarrega. You guys know that one. God, and for everybody who said John Williams sucks, I mean, yeah, dude, that sucks, right? That's pretty darn crispy, you gotta admit. You guys wanna hear my Alhambra? Keep in mind, I've only been working on that piece for 2 hours. I'm just kidding. I worked on that piece for quite a while. Like, not so much recently, though. I do want to learn it.
Recuerdo de la Alhambra is really...
Wait, oh, how do you pronounce it?
Recuerdo de la Alhambra is really...
Recuerdo de la Alhambra. Recuerdos de la Alhambra.
The standard guitar piece. I mean, it's a great piece of music. It's lovely. It is only what it is. It doesn't pretend to be anything more or less than a beautiful evocation of the Alhambra. Memories of the Alhambra, the old Moorish palace in Granada.
Granada! Segovia wouldn't shut up about Granada, you guys remember that?
And it's written in the style that we call a tremolo study, which is...
Indeed it is.
You keep the top strings going. It's actually a bit of a trick. It sounds as if you're doing...
Dude, don't screw your nail up. What are you doing?
A mandolin. In fact, you're playing one bass note and...
Sounds like you're Dick Dale or whatever. Dick Dale, is that his name? I don't know about guitar.
Accompanying bass note and 3 melodic notes. So there's a gap, but when you do it really fast, it sounds continuous. So it sounds...
Whoa. Dang. We're just gonna zoom in on that. God, those tiny little fingers, what they can do, man. John Williams has tiny hands, apparently. Do you guys remember that episode? That's a throwback. Man, I feel like I'm really disrespecting these masters today. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop being, like, disrespectful. Having, like, short fingers, I feel like kind of helps with stuff like that. Not that, like, I'm not, like, complaining because my hands are gigantic or anything. They're not. My hands are average sized, I would say. They're that big. I feel like it might help. What do you think?
I actually coined that phrase in print some years ago about John being the prince of the guitar. But of course I was wrong. I mean, he's the king.
Dude, John can't get away from just being like a tiny man, can he? He's the prince. And why do they gotta zoom out and make him look so small in the frame? What is this, like, conspiracy against John Williams and always making him look tiny? What is this? I'm sure he's normal sized. How tall is John Williams? Hold on. I already know what this video is going to be titled. Oh my god, these people. On the classical guitar forums. How tall are Bream, Williams, and Segovia? You weirdos. Segovia was 7 feet tall and could crush a man's skull with one hand. Okay. I'm glad the legend is alive. Can people only guess? Everyone's saying that both Bream and Williams are like 5'6" or whatever. Everybody speculates like 5'6" for both him and Bream, though.
Oh, describe him? Well, I could describe what I like about him, and that is, well, he likes staying up late and getting up in the morning late.
Okay. Is this God talking? What is this?
He's relaxed, he enjoys relaxing. He cherishes a small group of friends. He likes wearing old clothes.
Goodwill finds right here.
He has a rather insane sort of democratic view of things.
Oh, here we go, dude. Ping pong legend. Dude, everything's in here. It's too bad that's not Bream, though.
I'm more...
That's a point for John.
Australian than English, but I'm more Londoner than either. But the Australian and English is very important because I do.
That clip on the BBC has to be doctored because that thing was insane. There were just cuts like. Okay, there we go.
But I love the ability of Australians to
They're doing that was like how the BBC one was cut, where it was just this crazy like back and forth.
Through that English bullshit.
Whoa, dude, you just curse? I have to bleep him with the Metalocalypse sound now. Dude, chill.
See through that.
They love their table tennis.
I was born in 1941 in Melbourne. My father had been nowadays we call a session guitarist. He was like a dance band, radio show band guitarist during the late 30s and a guitar teacher. And then he met my mother. In fact, met my mother through a mutual love, intellectual flirtation with generally left-wing causes. But
of course, dude, that's my jam right there. Intellectual flirtation with left-wing, go with what?
But also jazz. And my father being a jazz guitarist and he'd sort of continuing the Reinhardt tradition in Australia at that time, or sort of joining it. And I took up guitar. Well, I used to think I started at the age of 7. I think it was just something that stuck in my memory. But in fact, he pointed out much later in life to me and showed me photographs that I actually started at the age of 4. He himself had been turning more and more to classical playing.
I think that's a great place to stop because I feel like I'm going to calm down for the next one, I promise. Do you believe that at all? Do you think it's going to get any better? We're going to milk this one for a while alongside the Barwaco documentary, so look forward to that. John Williams in the house, finally with us again. Isn't that wonderful? All right, well, I think we can go ahead and wrap this thing up. So let's wrap this thing up. All right, well, that was a pretty fun one, right? You know, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, all that stuff. And if you're interested in taking lessons with me, I'm available for new students. You can check out my channel description if you're interested in that. Regardless, there are a lot of lesson type things in these logs anyways, so I'm sure you'll learn something at some point or not. And if you have any questions about anything, you know, be sure to leave a comment and I'll answer it in the chair at some point. It doesn't even have to be a good question, you can just say hi, that's fine too. Alright, well, I think we can wrap this one up here, so I'll see you tomorrow.